Well, I'm joined by Chair of the Supporters Trust, Arnie Bartlett. How you doing, Arnie?
Doing very well. Thank you, Ed. Great to speak to you.
Good stuff. Thank you for joining us. So, like a lot of people, I couldn't get to the Q&A last night, sadly. But you're going to fill us in 5 minutes, and hopefully not too much more for those of us who couldn't be there but wanted to know what went on. I'm going to start with a cheeky question. Last night's meeting with the chairman came about at quite short notice, maybe not ideal timing, first week of the school holidays and everything else. Was there a reason for that? Did it have an impact on the number of people who could make it on the night?
Yeah, well, and genuinely sorry if that's how it was. I mean, we were just acutely aware we hadn't done one of these for a while. We thought it was a really a good idea, and it would be appreciated to try and get it in pre-season. And then there were just the logistics of trying to get the right people in the same place at the same time. So not ideal. I think anybody that couldn't make it and wants to have a look at it, the video is of the whole event is available for people to watch. I know that's not quite the same, but yeah, it was a key thing for us around just trying to get it in calendars as soon as we could. And numbers wise, just people won't appreciate. We had about 60, 65 in the room, and another 130 or so that were watching the stream. So some pretty decent numbers, and we were pretty happy with that.
Good, great stuff. From your point of view, what were the main takeaways from the night? I know that an awful lot got discussed, but what perhaps were the main points that came out of it?
Yeah, and the level of interest was fantastic. So we'd had something like 40, 44 questions submitted in advance, plus all the ones that we asked that were asked on the night. Uh, I mean, it certainly felt to me, kind of in the hosting seat, but also from speaking to various people afterwards, just to round out how open and honest it felt. So nobody was trying to dodge any questions. There were some pretty straight questions asked, and there were full and honest answers given to that. So that the big kind of takeaways for me, at the very outset, Hugh as chairman was kind of really open around last season having been unacceptable, and was absolutely looking for improvement from that. We heard quite a lot about kind of in the commercial space, I guess, where we know we've struggled a bit in the past. I think that's getting better, but is still not where we would want it to be. Uh, with things like sponsorship in particular being quite hard to secure. Uh, there was some interesting stuff about shirt sales and season tickets. So season tickets down a little bit on where they would have been at this time last year, but kind of 200 out of sort of 2,000. It was that level, and record levels of interest and purchases of the kind of the new away shirt and
Yeah,
the
did I
home.
hear right that they've sold like 2,000 of the away shirts, and the majority of those have been to people in Spain, or nearly, or half of them have been to people in Spain.
There's a good chunk of them have gone kind of in the Bilbao direction. So there's a new run of those being done. You don't want to be left with shirts on the shelf, but we're all set up for kind of getting some restock there. And then I guess related to the commercial stuff. Um, Hugh was really honest again around the amount of money that he's putting in. So he probably reckons it's about £2 million worth to this point, uh, which then led into some stuff around, right, some questions around, well, what are the plans for future investment? And he was really open and honest again there, where we've got a shareholder EGM scheduled. I think that'll take place roughly about 21st of August, I think, where we'll be looking to get the go ahead for a share issue to facilitate bringing in some additional investors. And then there were some really straight questions around who that's going to be. So no sign of a Snoop Dogg coming in, but Hugh was very open about it, that he's talking to John Pratt, who people will remember put in kind of the rival bid when Hugh actually took over. And I think people were really encouraged at the level of communication that is going on between the two, with them meeting kind of at the Barnet game in London, which
Yeah,
happens to be
I
what.
heard that they're going to get together next week before the Barnet match to have a conversation. I mean, I guess that potentially sets lots of hairs running. But if you've got the current chairman and another interested party sitting down and talking, that's no bad thing. I mean, like from the trust's point of view, does the trust take any view on that, or is it just a case of if there's potentially more investment coming into the club, then that's something to be welcomed, and you just want to hear what that might look like, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. We're obviously interested in what the implications are for the trust, but the key bit I think for all of us is we all recognise that more investment in the club is the thing that we should be looking for. That will help to get us on a healthier kind of footing, and I think everybody, and that's probably all shareholders, need to put kind of that to the forefront rather than any kind of individual views people might have around what it might mean for their kind of holding. So I think positive from a trust perspective for me, and great that they're speaking. I think that's really important. And why it's at the Barnet game, John spends a lot of time out of the country, and it just happens to be that he when he's in the UK, he tends to be London based, and that coincides with when we happen to be in Barnet. I think he's also planning to be at the Notts County game as well, the opening game of the season. So that's good. I think some of the other kind of areas where there were lots of questions was on the playing front. And are we maximising the budget that we're putting into players? Yes, putting in everything that we can that's allowed by the rules. And then, yeah, where are the areas that we're really kind of looking to strengthen?
I did hear on that front, by the way, that although you were too polite to echo the podcast's call for a midfield bastard, you did tactfully ask about the chances of us signing "quote unquote" a nasty defensive midfielder. So what reply did you get from that?
Yeah, so we a little bit tricky and open forum to use kind of quite the language that you might have gone for otherwise. But people had flagged, yeah, midfield bastard. Needed to strengthen at the back, at centre half in particular, where we conceded quite a lot of goals last year, and kind of the golden nugget of a 25 goal a season centre forward. So I think this was an area where I thought David Hughes was really reassuring and came across really well, because they absolutely recognise those areas where we want to strengthen, but there's a bit that kind of not at all costs, and lots of people want to see experience, but it's more important that it's the right players rather than the experience label that can sometimes come with a pretty expensive price tag attached to it. So the message I got, both from what David said in the meeting itself, but also in the margins, was they absolutely know what it is that they're looking for, and are still looking to strengthen the squad, both with signings, but also with some loans as well. And then I guess the final bit was just, it was clear that there is still the long-term plan that Hugh mentioned when he first came on board with the club. We can't expect to kind of boil the ocean, but doing things like getting some of that stuff right off the field as well as getting it right on the field will still continue to take time, but is something that he and the club is kind of really focused on.
On that, I mean, I did again, from bits that people were texting me through the evening. I gather that discussions are ongoing with University of South Wales about a 5 to 10 year agreement to use their facility at Pontypridd, I'm guessing, for kind of training facilities. Was there anything more said than that? I mean, having a training base is such a big important thing from what we gathered last season when we spoke to Nelson.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we know that we've suffered with the kind of quality of training, ground and facilities, and also being a bit nomadic, of having to kind of move from one venue to another. So I think it's great that we've kind of rationalised that at the University of South Wales facilities up in Treforest. I think it's also really good that that's where the academy is based as well. So I think that really helps build that link between the kind of senior squad, but the academy as well. And I think, reading between the lines, it's just a little bit of a matter of time before pen is put to paper on the agreement, with Hugh being really keen to make sure that we're not bound into something that too long term that we might be able to get out of if and when the sort of facilities that we've been looking to try to provide but for ourselves might come to light. But I think it definitely felt like a matter of days, weeks, rather than anything longer for that.
Brilliant. Well, we will share the link to the full recording so that people can watch the full 2 hours director's cut if they want to. But just finally, in terms of the trust, we'll have you back on to talk at more length. But is there one single priority that you've got as a trust over the course of this season?
So I might have gone for a couple, so bear with me. But so there were some things here where I kind of reflected last night that just trying to do a little bit more with to build those community links, which is one of the fundamental things that the trust is there for. So trying to link up a bit more with Norman Parcell, the great stuff that he's doing at county and the community, and I think just trying to enhance what we can offer for our younger members, whether that's Club Spitty, Teen Exiles, and just younger fans in general, as being the kind of future of the club. And we recognise that there's more that we can do there to attract that group of people in, which has got to be a good thing for that long term.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, we can talk about that at more length later on in the season. But yeah, thanks for your time, Arnie, and see you at the far post.
See you at the far post, Ed. Diolch yn fawr.